All right, thank you guys. Great to have you here today. And welcome to Big 12 picks and predictions for college football week 11. My name is Brock Page, and I really appreciate you joining me here today. And with that, let's go ahead and begin. And we don't have a real large slate here today, just a couple of games, so let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to take a look at TCU taking on West Virginia, and that's going to be a 12 p.m. Eastern start time in Morgantown. The West Virginia Mountaineers are the 3-point favorite at home. Totals 45, juice to the over. We're 3-2 in our last 5 extra daily picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want to gain access and unlock today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. We're also 7-3 in our last 10 daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And that's good for 70% in that particular span there. And if you want to gain access and unlock the daily best play, that's only going to cost you just $1.99. We currently have over 700 members signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, the link for that website is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And of course, when it comes to this TCU West Virginia ball game here, the Horned Frogs of Texas Christian are plus $1.20 for some money line cash. And prior to TCU's victory over Texas Tech this past week, the Horned Frogs had lost 2 out of their prior 3 ball games. Just 14 points a game they averaged in those 2 losses. TCU's throwing for just 1 touchdown a game on average, and their O-line has given up 19 total sacks through 6 games. The Horned Frogs are also throwing for less than 200 yards a game on the road this season. Meanwhile, defensively, TCU's allowing nearly 150 yards a game on the ground and 27 points per contest. Now, the Horned Frogs' defense, they have just 6 total takeaways thus far in the season as well. TCU's failed to cover the point spread in 6 out of their last 7 meetings with the Mountaineers. And speaking of West Virginia, they're 2-0 against the spread in their past couple of games themselves. 4-1 ATS in their last 5, doing a very good job covering the number over the past month or so. Now, the Mountaineers have been very good in Morgantown this season. A perfect 4-0 straight up on their home turf. 4-0 against the number in those ball games. The Mountaineers are scoring 40 points a game at home, and they're rushing for nearly 200 yards a game at Mountaineer Field. Now, running back Letty Brown has carried it 141 times for 741 yards and 9 touchdowns. Letty's averaging 5.3 yards a carry and 106 yards rushing a game. Quarterback Jared Dodge has also thrown for over 2,000 yards on the season already, along with 11 touchdowns. Dodge is throwing for nearly 300 yards per contest. Meanwhile, defensively, this Mountaineer D has really been good on their home turf this season. Just 14 points a game they're giving up in Morgantown, 51 yards a game on the ground at home as well. The Mountaineers are averaging 3 sacks per contest, 21 total sacks on the year. Very good pass rush. They also have double-digit takeaways, mostly thanks in part to 9 interceptions from this defense. Cornerback Alonzo Adai has a pair of interceptions from this secondary, 47 total tackles, and 3 PBUs for the senior. And defensive lineman Akeem Mesidor also has 4 sacks on this season, 19 total tackles for Mesidor. And speaking of tackles, can't forget about linebacker Tony Fields, who currently leads the Mountaineers with 65 total tackles through 7 games, along with 2 PBUs and an interception. West Virginia is giving up less than 3.7 yards per play at home. They're also giving up less than 160 yards passing a game on their home field as well. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the number in this one, 3 out of West Virginia's last 4 ball games got over the posted number. The Mountaineers are officially 3-1 to the over at home this season. Meanwhile, TCU's currently 2-0 to the over when they travel themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the West Virginia Mountaineers -3 and the over 45 in that ball game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for college football week 11. And of course, this is the very short, very modified Big 12 edition. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, just got to quickly remind you once again that we are 3-2 in our last 5 extra daily picks on patreon.com/Brock Page. And if you want to access and unlock today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. We're also 7-3 in our last 10 daily best plays on that site as well. Good for 70% during that stretch. And if you want to unlock today's daily best play, that's only going to cost you $1.99. Now, we currently have over 700 members signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/Brock Page. And moving on, we're going to go ahead and find our next and final matchup for the show. I believe it's on our board. And yes, it is. I'm talking about Baylor taking on Texas Tech, and that's going to be a 4 p.m. Eastern start time in Lubbock. The Baylor Bears are the 1.5-point favorite on the road. Totals 57.5. Now, Baylor's on a 4-game losing streak right now. 0-3 straight up away from home this season as well. Really struggling when they travel. This Baylor offense is rushing for less than 55 yards a game on the road. They're also scoring just 22 points per contest when traveling as well. This Baylor offense is also averaging less than 2.9 yards per carry on the season. That's for the entire season, home and away. Less than 2.9 yards per rush on the season. Really struggling to run the ball. They've scored only 4 rushing touchdowns through 5 contests. Meanwhile, defensively, the Bears are giving up 31 points a game when they travel, 165 yards on the ground away from home as well. Baylor's currently 1-4 straight up on the season, and they lost their last 7 straight ball games in Lubbock. Texas Tech, on the other side, has won 2 out of their last 4 at home. Solid victory over a tough West Virginia team during that stretch. Now, Texas Tech is scoring 38 points a game at home, and they're throwing for nearly 300 yards a game at Jones AT&T Stadium. Wide receiver Eric Ezukama has 35 receptions for 490 yards and 4 touchdowns. Eric's averaging 14 yards per reception. And the other wideout, Keyshawn Carter, has 23 grabs for 226 yards and 4 scores himself. The Red Raiders are also rushing for over 155 yards a game at home as well. Running back Saradrick Thompson has rushed it 72 times for an average of 5.4 yards per carry. Thompson has punched it into the end zone 6 times. Texas Tech has once again won their last 7 straight ball games hosting Baylor. And when it comes to the total in this one, 2 out of the Raiders' last 3 ball games got over the posted total. They're 3-1 to the over at home. Meanwhile, Baylor's last 2 straight ball games got over the line themselves. Give me the underdog Texas Tech Red Raiders plus 1.5 and the over 57.5 in that contest. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/Brock Page.